Data privacy can be complicated. And more importantly, even if you understand data privacy and become a professional, the challenge is to stay up to date. How do you find yourself up to date? Because there are so many resources. Every day a new law is coming up. Someone has an opinion, someone has an article, so many LinkedIn posts, and so on. And that's a conversation I'm going to have with my dear friend and fellow data protection lawyer, ex Data Protection Authority president from San Marino, Nicola Fabiano. He was also in the first episode of the Fit for Privacy podcast, and now he comes back in season 4. And we talk about privacy resources, that is, how do you stay as a privacy professional in touch with the latest, what challenges we face. We are all human, so we do face challenges, but how do we solve and what do we do? Let's go and have a good conversation with him. Thank you so much.
Hello, and welcome to the Fit for Privacy podcast with Punit Bhatia. This is the podcast for those who care about their privacy. Here, your host, Punit Bhatia, has conversations with industry leaders about their perspectives, ideas, and opinions relating to privacy, data protection, and related matters. Be aware that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not legal advice. Let us get started.
So here we are with Nicola Fabiano. Welcome, Nicola. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Punit. Fine, thank you. I hope you are fine too.
Yes, I'm doing very fine, and it's good to see you after some time. Remember, you were there in the first episode we ever did for the Fit for Privacy podcast.
It's a pleasure. I want to thank you very much. It's an honor for me to participate in your activities, your initiatives, and I am very happy to stay here today.
I'm grateful for your support, and let's continue our journey with a very basic question. You and me and everyone else around in this world who's a privacy professional, one of our challenges is to stay up to date, stay current. And my first question is, do you think privacy professionals need to stay up to date and current?
Oh, the answer is obviously yes. It's necessary to stay updated, and one of the challenges of privacy professional is to stay aligned with all the documents that were issued, that were published, and from by the data protection authorities, or by the European Data Protection Board, or also were on the website, on the internet. So we can we have a duty to stay updated, and we have the need to find documents and to understand what are the latest news on data protection and privacy, of course.
Indeed, and I think when I see being staying in touch or staying up to date, there are many dimensions. One is what is coming from the regulator, and that's where the documents come in. Second is the interpretation of those, where there's the working party guidelines again from the EU. But then in that context, there is also the interpretation or the perception or the realization as it's being done by professionals on the ground, say practitioners, because you have the law, you have the working party guidance, but how do you implement it? How do you put it into practice? And that's very industry oriented. And then, of course, taking all three, you need to make your own judgment, contextualize things, and so on. So, as a person, how do you overcome this challenge as a person? Because like when I have to do it, of course I talk to a lot of people. That's one source, my clients. Second is the podcast, like I have one, but I also listen to others. Then there are books, and then there are EDPB or European institutional documents and others who are issuing guidance. But how do you do it as a person?
Well, it's not simple, because in the last time, so in the last years, I selected a lot of interesting resources that apart from the institutional ones like the EDPB website, the EDPS website, the European Commission website, and so on, I found several serious website, but because today we have to pay attention to deep fakes, and yes, indeed, and we have to pay attention to do not find false references. So it's not simple. It was not simple, but during the years, I selected some resources, and I consult often them, and just to stay up to date. And sometimes I exchange my opinion with other colleagues on the resources I found. I personally founded the community, a data protection community on the web. So it's a privacy community where I publish some articles related to privacy and data protection and cybersecurity that I found on the internet, but mainly from published by the most important journals or magazines. So I think that reading all these documents can help privacy professional in understanding some challenges, understanding some issues, and why not starting also a discussion with other privacy professionals. We know that nowadays most of us use LinkedIn as a social platform to share concepts, ideas, or questions with other colleagues. But indeed, there are also other resources on the web, and it was a good effort to select some of these resources to study and deepen some aspects related to data protection and privacy. This is in general. Obviously, we have no time now to deepen and to describe each one of these resources. But I think that people who are interested can follow us, me and you, on social platforms, and I can see what kind of resources we can use or we can share.
Absolutely, and I think it's good. They can follow us, and I see you're doing a lot of posts on LinkedIn. It's amazing to see the number of posts you do. Uh, but you mentioned that you have your own community. What do you call that community? Like, is it same like I call the community more fit for privacy? What do you call that community of professionals?
No, this is. I want to spend some words on this community because it's a simple. Firstly, is a resource in the Fediverse. We already talked about the Fediverse. The Fediverse is not the metaverse. Is a general system on the internet built on a lot of instances. There are servers which are federated. So each server talks with another servers and so on. This community is a kind of Reddit. I don't know if you know that resource. It's a famous resource on the web, but is an independent resource owned by me and managed by me. and but open to all who wants to register can do it and can publish content on my community. You can decide to register, and if you register on the community, you can publish content or comments every single news you can read. Or if you don't want to register, you can simply read the news that I publish on the community. Usually, I try to publish contents related to data protection, privacy, and cybersecurity. This is my goal, and this is could be one of the way to stay up to date. Indeed, there are news reported by other other publishers like usually are institutional ones like the European Commission. Some news, particular news related to our field, to our domain. And this is the community in general. So it's a place on the web where you can read news, and if you want, you can join us, registering and publishing your content or comments or comment any single news, every single news you can read. That's the community.
That's good to know. I think we'll publish the details or the login details in content, and people are in details of the episode show notes, and people can look at it. And if they want to join, it's available for free, and they can be part of the community. And it's a very good thing you do. And similarly, on Fit for Privacy, there are some free trainings which are available for people to consume to become familiarized with the privacy world. But the other challenge is, which I personally face, and I'm sure many others would face, when the EU publishes, you got to be aware that this has come up. If you miss that day or week, then it's gone. It's very fast. And even if you do, then you need to be able to know how to search and everything. Of course, everything is available on the EU website. But when it comes to ordering the content, it comes to having it at a structure at one place. You and me were talking last week, and you were mentioning that you are creating what you call rather privacy resources. Tell
Oh,
me
yes.
something about this, because what I understood was you are putting in one stop shop, all one placeholder where people can come and access EU documents. Tell me more about it.
Yes, of course. Thank you for your question. I want to underline firstly that I am I'm passionate about informatics, computer science. So in the last times, I set up a lot of free instances, free resources, and I discovered that some institutional website, like for example the EDPB website, publish. You can find official documents on the EDPB website, but I found that that those documents are not ordered. Are mixed, so you cannot find. You can find document number 1, number 3, number 9, and so on. It's quite difficult to make a useful research on the EDPB website. This is my personal experience. I hope to not wrong on this, but this is my personal experience. So what I thought, I thought that okay, I want to create a place on the web where a digital place where privacy professionals can find the main data protection and privacy documents resources in general, ordered by date. So, so yes, I create a website named privacyresources.eu, where you can find in the section documents, you can find some areas. So you can find the EDPB areas, the European Court of Justice areas, you can find the GDPR areas, and clicking on each of those areas, you can find those are the sections of the website. If you want to find the documents, for example, published by the EDPB, you can click on the EDPB, and then you can find some voices, opinions, recommendations, guidelines, and you can click on one of those voices that you are interested in, and you can find the documents. This is a manual, a manual search, but you can use the field search that you can find in the top of the website, and you can digit, for example, SCC, standard contractual clauses, or any kind of words, and the search engine is very powerful and carry out all the documents related to the resource you are looking for. So this is, I consider privacy resources as my work instrument, when I want to find, I want to look for some resource. Now I am implement that privacy resources, because I am uploading the documents when I retrieve from the internet some interesting document. For example, I uploaded the reference to the jurisprudence of the European Court on Human Rights. So it depends on the document I find surfing on the web, and if I find something of interest, I publish it. Basically, I pay attention now to the institutional documents. So now you can find the areas available are those one related to institutional websites, so like EDPB, EDPS, and the European Commission, and so. The project is to extend, to populate the website with documents from all over the world related always to data protection and privacy. I don't want to replicate other existing resources that everybody knows, but I want to just to realize a place where people, privacy professional, can find simply the documents that we every day we use. So this is the idea.
That's a wonderful idea and a wonderful service for everyone. So if
it's
I
free,
understand
it's free. Now
yeah,
it's free.
indeed. So privacy resources is a resource of all the privacy resources from the EU websites, consolidated at one place, available for free, and people can access it by visiting www.privacysources.eu. And of course, what we will do is we will put the link in the show notes, And we will also add it to our website fitforprivacy.com so that people can access it, because we do have on fitforprivacy.com also a privacy kit, which is basically templates that people can use to get quickly started with their privacy compliance. But that's not free, that's paid for. Nominal fee, of course. We don't charge hours of consulting, which we have to put in to build it. But I really like the idea of this privacy resources because it's a useful service for people. And as you say, it can expand into multiple jurisdictions eventually, of course. In the volunteer work that you're doing, if more
Of
people join
course.
in, collaborate, and then we can have more resources, more information available. But thank you so much for publishing it.
Thank you. Thank you. I
So
hope to find people interested in collaborate with me to providing some other resources from other countries. It's impossible to follow what happens in the in the world. So I hope that someone can would collaborate to helping me in publishing other documents from all over the world.
absolutely, there are a lot of noble-minded people who are willing to share their information, their time, and help others grow and expand their knowledge. So, if anyone is interested, of course, you can contact Nicola or me at LinkedIn, and we would be happy to have collaboration with you. Now, Nicola, one more thing that bothers me usually as a person, and I like to ask you as a professional or fellow colleague also. Well, all these resources we have, the volunteer ones, the paid ones, the knowledge, the EU documents, and everything, isn't it too much to consume? Because sometimes I struggle to see which one I read, which one I don't. Then I keep them in my inbox. I will read, then I don't read it for 3 months, and 3 months later I move them to old box because I say, anyhow, if I didn't read it for 3 months, I will not read it future. Let me at least empty my inbox. Does it happen with you also, or how do you then prioritize which ones to read?
Oh, you are right. We are we have very a large amount of documents we should have read, and it's not simple to do it. Usually, I prioritize my reading by the latest documents published, and I try to read the document soon if I can. Otherwise, I have a system of reading list. So I put my document in the reading list, and when I have time, I read them. It's difficult to stay up to date and follow all the resources we have in this domain, and because are almost all interesting. And for example, accessing to LinkedIn, I cannot follow a lot of people that publish very interesting posts, but it's difficult because we usually we work during the week, and we have to work, and we have also to study, to deepen. So usually if I cannot read immediately, I put the document in my reading list, and I read later then.
That's a good idea. I think that's something everyone should implement. Have a system, create a system for yourself which allows you to work. But beyond the system, you need a habit of following the system. Because you can put the best system in place, but if you don't have the habit of following what you planned to do, it doesn't help.
Yes, you're right. It's a matter of approach. Everyone should organize the work and the personal life. Because because we cannot work 24 hours for days and for day, and we have to also to leave time to to family and personal life. I think that the main issue is to how to organize our work and find and trying to find the good organization, the good way to achieve each step of our work during the day. So I don't know. Usually in the morning I read some news, and after I usually start working. Then I try to check if there is some update and so on. It's a kind of approach. It depends on how each one of us organize their life and their work.
Absolutely. And I think if I synthesize all, I mean, of course, we had different topics, different conversations. I think through this last few minutes of 25, 30 minutes, if I summarize, I think one, it's important to stay in touch. And that's why you need to create your own system on how do you stay in touch. Because otherwise, as a privacy professional, you very soon become less relevant, if I may call it. Second, there is a community which you have created called Fediverse, which people can join, create a login, and have contribute, read, access, and use it. Third, you mentioned the privacyresources.eu, which is also available to people for all the EU related documents right now in a structured manner so that they can find them at one place. And last but not the least, create habits, create your system, and follow that system to stay up to date. With that, I would say, Nicola, as always, like the first episode, and now we are in the season 4, it is always a pleasure to talk to you and learn so much from your wealth of knowledge.
The pleasure is mine, and let me say just in conclusion, in relation with your last question, it could be useful also to find some software, even open source, that can help us to archive our resources in one place, and then we can find with a search system, powerful search system that allow us to find the resources we need. So I think that we should also to pay attention to the computer resources, because we work with computers, and if we found some software, some app that can help us, why not?
Absolutely. I think in the past I used Evernote, which was the free version of it. Nowadays I've migrated to OneNote, and that's where I'm organizing. But again, as you organize, you learn. That is also an art. That is also a challenge. That is also a consistent effort because it takes a lot of effort. But yes, organization on top of what all we said is an important element.
Indeed.
So, in essence of time, Nicola, I would say thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much, Punit.
Thanks for listening. If you liked the show, feel free to share it with a friend and write a review. If you have already done so, thank you so much. And if you did not like the show, don't bother and forget about it. Take care and stay safe. Fit for Privacy helps you to create a culture of privacy and manage risks by creating, defining, and implementing a privacy strategy that includes delivering scenario-based training for your staff. We also help those who are looking to get certified in CIPPE, CIPM, and CIPT through on-demand courses that help you prepare and practice for certification exam. Want to know more? Visit www.fit4privacy.com. That's www.fit4privacy.com. If you have questions or suggestions, drop an email at hello@fit4privacy.com. Until next time, goodbye.